Do you feel there needs to be a change done in regards to how the league values the running back position?
Ashley, you want me to go first, or what you want to do here?
I'll go first, Roke. Mine's short. Does there need to be a change? This is what the league is right now. We have this conversation often. The league has transitioned. Once upon a time, it was very focused on the run game. A running back was such a pivotal part of one's offense because of a lot of the times the Dallas Cowboys kind of started that trend in having a really strong O-line and a really powerful running back, and that being the way that you won football games. But quarterbacks now, offenses now are more into, pass first. They're not really looking into running the ball as much. And if they are going to run the ball, they're not looking for a traditional running back that can just go ahead and hit those holes. They want a running back like an Austin Eckler. They want a running back that can go ahead and run when they have to, but can also go ahead and catch passes because that's what the league is. So I hear McCaffrey saying that, is it an undervalued position? Absolutely, but it's undervalued because of what the landscape of the NFL is right now. Will it eventually turn? I think everything comes back full circle. Will we start seeing more run heavy offenses once again? Probably. Will it be anytime soon? I don't think so. I think that era is kind of over with for now, and we're going to see more, importance placed on, as always, the quarterback, the wide receiver, the secondary defense. I just think that the running back is not a top priority in what the landscape of the league is, because a lot of the times running backs are not disposable, but there's no longevity there. And I think that teams are now focusing more, like I said, on pass offenses because there's more longevity in that game than a run game, and paying a running back a crap load of money to only get maybe 5 years of true productivity out of them, depending on, how often they're used. So I hear him, but this is just what the league is right now.
Ashley, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and a few others should all boycott. They shouldn't show up. That's the only way change is going to happen. It's the running back position is the most disrespected position in all of sports.
Oh my goodness! All right, I'm glad.
There's almost 6 guys now that is approaching year 5, year 6. Ezekiel Elliott, right? Once you get to year 5, year 6, you know what they say? You're done, because they're looking at the historicals. No, this is when you on that decline. But what about the years before, like even Zeke, right? Think about Ezekiel Elliott. So my production's down. So you saying that I don't have it anymore, I'm on the decline. But you don't remember me playing on one leg last year because our team was in the play, was trying to make this run, and Dak was struggling a little bit, and you gave me the ball 20, 25 times a game, and I sucked it up. You don't remember what it took for me to get through a practice? How I hobbled into the training room? And y'all had to put ice and heat on me and then stem and all these other things on me and flush out my knee and my leg just to get to this point to help the team out. So, yeah, I went from averaging 4.5 yards a carry to now I'm averaging 3 yards a carry or 3.5. I don't got the burst because I'm on one leg. Mm-hmm. But I put the team first. And now you're saying, can't pay him no more. Dalvin Cook had, 1,200, 1,300 yards last year?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So if I'm these guys, I redefine the running back position. It takes disruption. It takes guys being bold, but they're the most disrespectful. So Christian McCaffrey, thank you for starting the conversation. But put a group text together. Y'all get together. Y'all get together with y'all agents. Do what the tight ends do and the defensive ends do, and some of the receivers do. These tight end summits, the defensive end summits put together by Von Miller and the kid out in San Francisco. What's his name? George Kittle. Yeah. Why don't the running backs get together? Because it's not just exchanging information about like how we're going to beat this coverage or this position. They're also exchanging information about business. The quarterback's been doing it for years. The Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's of the world have been doing this for years. Running backs, come together. Boss up. Why don't y'all all come and say, look, how about we redefine it this way? We demand that, no, if you don't want to pay me, then you can't play me 25, give me the ball 25, 30 times a game. Not doing it. You're not going to put this wear and tear on my body. And when it's time for me to get the bag, you say, we're not going to pay you. We're going to go to the next guy. That's what they're doing. If you don't come in as a running back in the first round and make money that way, the chances of you getting a really strong deal, a second deal, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. I want to ask you though, Brandon, being a player, and I want to know if you're going to be biased towards the wide receiver position after I ask you this, but wouldn't you argue that the running back position is one of the more important positions on the field?
Well, if you think about championship runs, I would say yes, right?
Yeah.
Because what are we saying? The Eagles last year, right?
Yeah.
So many teams. The Eagles ain't get it done because Jalen Hurts has an amazing arm. He's talented.
Right.
I think his superpower is his leadership. Mm-hmm. Right, but can he do everything? Yeah, but they're going out there and gassing dudes for 300 yards some games. That opens up the field for everyone else.
Yeah.
But then you see Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders can't even get what he's worth because they're looking at no, that's everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And actually, and I hear you out too by saying, the game is changing and whatnot. It's more of a passing style league, but you still have to run the ball in football, right? So that is the running back's job. They occupy, I guess that 50% is only two aspects to the game, running and passing. They occupy that 50% of the game. And let's say you're a running back, in most offenses, the running back is at least a third of maybe the passing game, including the tight end and the wide receiver. That's still an additional 16%. The running back is involved in 65% of the offense, but they're the least paid. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's because
I agree with you, but I think that the league's not looking for traditional running backs anymore. It's now a hybrid running back. It's a running back that can run the ball but also catch the ball, who can also act as a receiver. So I still think, I'm not disagreeing with you. I've always thought that the running back position was undervalued. But I think that as the landscape of the league has changed, the running back position has changed. So you're not going to see a contract for an Ezekiel Elliott type running back who really that's all he does is run the ball. Zeke doesn't have the best hands. He's not, running routes, things like that. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see that hefty of a payday for a running back in the traditional sense. I agree with what Brandon's saying. They are undervalued and they should go ahead and make adjustments to their pay scale based on their usage within a football team. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of that argument, I think we can all agree that a traditional running back is not a priority in an NFL offense. You want a guy who can do both. So that's the only argument that I'm making in terms of that type of running back is no longer a priority or I don't want to say necessary.
You're right.
But
at that point in time, I think it's
I'll use, for lack of a better word,
necessary
in the NFL anymore. It's just not.
It's a new philosophy, but I would say this: there are teams out there that still believe in the traditional running back, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens, a team that wants to run the ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that wants to run the ball. There are teams out there that want to run the ball. The San Francisco 49ers, believe it or not, they want to run the ball. Now, do they do misdirection and they have a phenomenal scheme? Absolutely. Can they plug and play with other running backs? Absolutely. And just so I'm clear here, what I'm saying when I say redefine the position or how we approach the running back is this, and Ashley, it's what you just said, right? If I'm a running back, first off, I'm coming in. If I'm a Saquon Barkley, I'm telling the coach, I'm not toting the ball 20, 25 times a game because I want to play 10 years. I want to play 12 years, and you're not going to do that to me, right? So what we're going to do is you're going to give me the ball. It's almost like Shady McCoy, right? I'm going to probably touch it. I'm going to run it 11, 12 times a game, and also you're going to throw it to me the way you've been thrown to me. I'm going to have 6 to 7 receptions. You have running backs now, bro, that are getting 100 receptions in a season. Matt Forte had 104 receptions, right? Alvin Kamara is a receiver. Right. Alvin Kamara did it. This is how he got his bag. And this is what the running backs need to do as a union, as a collective. We're you know what we are? We're tweeners. We're slot receivers and running backs. The same way, Ashley, remember, the defensive ends and the linebackers did this. If you're in the 3-4, they wanted to pay these defensive ends linebacker money because it was lower. But these defensive ends, like the Elvis Dumervilles of the world, they came out and they were like, no, I'm a DN. You're not paying me as a linebacker, right? Tight ends. Some tight ends fought. you're using me as a receiver. Why are you going to try to franchise tag me as a tight end? So that's the conversation that those guys need to have. But it starts with them coming together and having this conversation amongst each other, and hopefully the NFLPA and other players and hopefully fans help them as well.
Do you think?
I think it's also going to be hard to make that argument, though, because not only has the necessity for a traditional running back change, but if you look at some of the teams across the NFL, right, some of the leading rushers are the quarterback. So it's going to be really hard to present the necessity or the value of a traditional running back when a lot of these teams, the first team that comes to mind is the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe that Jalen Hurts is their leading rusher. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They won a Super Bowl. They don't even really run the ball like that.
Justin Fields is top 10 in rushing last year as well.
But that's what I'm saying. You have quarterbacks now that are getting more athletic and more able to pass the ball and to run the ball, that it even devalues a traditional running back even more because it's not a necessity unless you can give me something else. Right. So I hear what McCaffrey's saying. I hear what Corey's saying about it being such an important part of the offense. But when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, it's not really a necessity unless you can provide me something else, because I can get the run game elsewhere. And a lot of the quarterbacks in the league are able to do it. And let's be honest, you don't need to use a top draft pick to get a decent running back.
True.
Their careers, for the most part, don't last very long unless you're a freak. But on average, running back 3 to 5 years most. Why would I spend an X amount of money when I have other positions that I can pay that are more pivotal to my success, that I can get more years out of, when I can go ahead and get a running back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round next draft? It's going to be a hard argument to make.
And then also you got to look at it this way. When I was growing up, the premier position was running back. We wanted to be Barry Sanders. We wanted to be Emmitt Smith. All the kids wanted to be running back. Now they want to be wide receivers. If you're a freak, if you're an athlete, wide receiver or DB. Okay, and so the reason why we're in this position is because back then the traditional way was giving it to a guy 20, 25, 30 times a game. So that's why you see these careers right around year 5, year 6, age 30 start to hit that decline. But now the way we approach the running back position is outside of Derrick Henry, right? That's still tradition. That's still old school. I don't know how the hell he's still doing it this way, but it's, look, we're gonna run you, but also you need to make sure you know how to run this Texas route. We need to make sure you know how to run this option route. We need to make sure that you can catch a slant, that you can even run go balls. They're doing go balls to running backs now. So with that in mind, they have to sit down and just say, look, guys, look at the numbers, look at the statistics, our percentages of when you guys are using us, run versus pass, and that's how they should construct these deals. And so I don't know what's going on with Saquon Barkley, but if I'm Saquon Barkley, are we talking about Saquon Barkley? Because I don't want to, I can jump off topic.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, it was all along in this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, because, according to Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post, the Giants returned to the negotiating table because, he's been trying to negotiate a contract as they have franchise tagged him. But they returned to the negotiating table with a smaller figure than the $13 million per year that they had previously offered him. So, what are your thoughts there? What should Saquon do? Should he? I want to know.
Brian Daboll, I love you. I played for the Giants. I got some cool and some dope relationships within that organization. I always got to keep it real. And I want to go there for training camp. We're going to be on tour. We're going to hit a bunch of cities. So what I say now could affect what type of access we get. Golly. We should have put this in the show.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll, I love you. I love what y'all doing here. But Saquon Barkley, don't show up, bro. Don't show up. Don't show up. Now, the case study is Le'Veon Bell. I don't know what – we got to look at Le'Veon Bell. Remember, Le'Veon Bell was the premier running back in the NFL. He was him, right? He was going back and forth with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He stood up, sat out a whole year. Career was never the same.
Yep.
He was done. Got to the Jets, was done. And actually, the deal that they gave him, or they offered him the Pittsburgh Steelers offered him, Sits out a year. He got less than that. It was bad.
Lose. Yeah.
Right? But what happened here is total disrespect. Hey, here's where we're at. The market changes a little bit. No team's really out there. I don't know what happened, right? Because it's really it's a tag is what happened, right? They offered him a long-term contract, but because he didn't sign that, they then put him on a tag, not the franchise tag, the lower tag. So that's what they're talking about here. There's no way he can put his name on that. Off of that alone, Ashley, I'm not showing up.